Welcome to the executive summary of the participation meeting for the electronic identity and trust infrastructure from Switzerland. My name is Rolf Rauschenbach. I am the communications officer for the electronic identity with the Federal Office of Justice, and it is my pleasure to be your moderator today for this session. We have had just the normal session, mainly in German and a little bit of Italian today at 4 o'clock Swiss time. And now myself and my colleague André will provide you with the summary of this session of today, so that people who are not fluent in German mainly have also access to the main information from Switzerland and its electronic identity. Welcome again. It is my pleasure. Would you prefer to have a look at the original slides in French or German? Then please follow the link that you can see now on the screen. And also on GitHub you find the slides that I'm presenting to you today. The agenda is as follows. I will give you a brief update on where we are in terms of the legislation. Then André will talk about public beta. And finally, I will give you again a summary on the system demo that has been provided today. Questions from the audience, actually in the executive summary and with now the use of YouTube will be slightly difficult. But if you have questions, you have all my contact details. Feel free to send me an email. Feel free to use the GitHub. We have also the Slido possibility. However, I believe there is nobody in the chat anymore, or at least André is just telling me that he will try to answer your questions, should you have any. Okay, so that's the agenda. We are recording this session and we will publish it on YouTube sometimes next week for those who are not able to join us now live. In addition to questions that you can ask in the chat, please use the various resources that we provide to you, our website, our YouTube channel, also with introductory videos. And obviously for all those people who have technical questions, please go to our GitHub. There you will find a lot of documentation. Furthermore, as you know, we have public beta, our test environment, our public test environment, live already since quite a while. Also a wallet that you can use. You can issue your own beta ID and test our stuff as it is as of now. And we do that mainly because we would like to know what you think about it. So here the link to provide us with your feedback. We very much appreciate your collaboration in that respect. And here again the QR code to our chat, since YouTube is not really a good way of interacting with you simultaneously. Okay, so that is the housekeeping, and now I will briefly talk about where we are in terms of the legislation. This presentation has been made in German before by my boss Urs Paul Hohenstein. And there the main update is, as you might recall, there was a public vote on the eID Act last September. The majority of the votes were in favor of the eID Act. However, there were a number of complaints or appeals to the vote, and these appeals have now been decided by the Supreme Court of Switzerland. They have actually come to the conclusion that these appeals have no ground and that the vote is not required to be repeated. With other words, we can now move forward and get the eID Act, we can publish it and it can also enter into force. However, that still will take a little bit of time. We are trying to be ready with everything by December 26. However, that is not yet totally confirmed. We are still working on some security issues and also on usability and accessibility topics, so that we really provide you with a good product. Now, just for information, the appeals that have been made against this vote were with regard to certain contributions to the campaign made by a number of actors. As I said, the Federal Court came to the conclusion that there are no problems with these contributions, or rather their decision was made on a formal basis. The question was if the appeals have been made quickly enough, or if they have missed the delays that are prescribed in the law. And the Federal Court came to the conclusion that these delays have not been respected by those who have made the appeals, and therefore the appeals were not really relevant. To understand that a little bit better, I can give you as background that there is a website where all the political funding has to be reported to the general public. You see here the landing page, and then if you click further down, you find the different topics where political campaigns have been made. And if you even go further, then you find each single contribution to a specific campaign. And there the contributions that have been put into question by the people who have made the appeals have been reported accordingly. And yeah, that is just as a piece of information how Switzerland is reporting political funding. I guess some of these websites will be further improved and will provide in the future, hopefully also the possibility to get notified in order to not miss any delays in the future, but that is as it is as of now. In summary and conclusion, the appeals are not relevant anymore. That means the law can enter into force. We hope to be able to do that by December the 1st, but we still have a few other things, mainly in the area of security and accessibility, to be resolved, and we will communicate the final go live date as soon as possible, but not yet today. And with this, I get to the next topic. As I have mentioned, there is a public beta, our public test environment, and André Kunz will give you an update on where we are with that public beta test environment. Please.
Thank you, Rolf. So, as an overview, I will talk about new releases of some of our components, then talk about the Swiss profiles, which we have published recently, and give an outlook to the next weeks and months how the public beta environment will evolve. To start with, we have a new release of the beta credential service, where you can issue and verify the beta IDs. This was a next step regarding the further development of the Swiss profiles, which I will talk about later. Important is that this release requires the Swio wallet versions iOS 1.15 and Android 1.14, and is not backwards compatible with older versions of the Swio wallet. The key changes are rather technical. We have new VCT metadata claims. We have expanded the issuer metadata with a new element. and we upgraded the SWIU issuer and the SWIU verifier, the generic components that we are also presenting to the public for the usage. Right now, the payload encryption is optional, but it will be necessary in the future. Regarding the new wallet updates, it is important for iOS that these are only support devices running iOS 17 or later. We've proceeded some contract steps. This is, we have a phase, so different phases. When we have changes that are potentially breaking, we have the expand phase where we support both variants of a certain structure. Then you have to migrate, and now it's the contract phase where then newer versions are not compatible with the later versions anymore. So 2 contract steps, they are shown on the slides. We have fixed a bug that has been around for quite a while, and we have now newly the changelog available with the releases on GitHub, so we can see in detail what changed with the next versions. The SWIU generic issuer, we have a new major version towards the implementation of the OIDE for VCI 1.0. The contract steps that we have proceeded here are the nonce endpoints from previous specifications have been removed, and we only support the new endpoints. Here we have already a changelog on GitHub, so all other fixes and new features you can read in the changelog. And we also provide a migration guide on GitHub for the upgrade from the version 2.4 to 3.0. With the start of public beta, we had one interoperability profile which showed how we do implement the different standards. For the ease of use, we have now 7 specific profiles which relate to different specifications. You can see it on the table which profile does cover which specification. Important here is that we have only published the draft, so right now you can see what the state of the current development is, but there are going to be some smaller changes possibly in these profiles, but we will keep you informed on our channels as soon as they are final. Well, as an outlook, we have continuous development of our public beta in line with this AMC pattern that I mentioned before. Besides the SWIU issuer, we have the SWIU verifier next with a major upgrade to version 3. Payload encryption will be mandatory in future for the issuance, and we have new modes and new endpoints for the verification. So there will also be new values for the VCT claim and new DITs. We will publish them on the channels that you can read on either on GitHub discussions or on the SWIU technical documentation website. On GitHub, you can subscribe to this discussion so you will be informed if there are any news. On the SWIU technical documentation website, you have an RSS feed, which is a little bit old school, but still works. That's it from my side. If there are any questions, I will still be available in the chat for a few minutes. Thank you.
Thank you, André, for this update on public beta and on GitHub and on the work that we are already able to publish. Now, the main part of our session today was a system demo in which a number of colleagues have presented their current state of work. I am not able to reproduce all this. There were many different laptops and smartphones involved. I just would like to give you an overview of what we have shown to you. Maybe it is worthwhile to quickly have a look also at the YouTube video in the German version if you would like to see more. The first topic was the brand manual. As you are aware of, we are now really moving towards the final product, which involves many different surfaces, products, services, and so on. And we would like to make sure that also from a visual and language point of view, we have consistency, accessibility, and also some joy when looking and using our stuff. And all this is being described in the brand manual. At the moment, it is a document of already more than 150 pages. It will be published at a later stage, hopefully still this year. Maybe not everything, but everything that is necessary and required and interested to the general public. Also, in particular, to other organizations who are using our infrastructure, who would like to display at some point our logo, or who are integrating also their brand into the Trust infrastructure. So there we have given a brief overview on our work on the brand manual. Secondly, we presented some of the initial drafts of our new website. You may be aware that currently we have a website with the URL eid.admin.ch. This is more a project website and less a product and service website. Once we go productive and are available for the general public of Switzerland, obviously we have to address that accordingly, and we are in the process of preparing this website. It will have also a different URL. It will be svu.admin.ch. We have shown a little bit what the overall structure is, how we speak to the people, what kind of images we use, how complex the information is on the top level, and that then we allow people to click to get more information and even more information and even more information. In the end, you end up with André and GitHub and his technical documentation. So we really try to provide all the information to everyone who is interacting with our Trust infrastructure. So that was the topic of this presentation. Then we had a demo on how we create transparency, in particular in the wallet. The question is, first of all, when a user, a holder, is interacting either with an issuer or then with a verifier, what kind of information do I get as user? What kind of alerts, how does it look like, and so on and so forth. And then also we have shown today the log that is produced by all my interactions, that I can go back also a day after to see what have I done with my wallet, where have I used which credential, or even also I did not use it because I rejected requests for data because I did not feel comfortable with it. So we have shown all these different functionalities of the wallet, including also then if something was not correct, at least not in my point of view, how I can make a report where I believe a issuer or mainly a verifier was doing something not according to our rules. So that was the part of the transparency and report misuse. Finally, another colleague has shown how the onboarding for verifiers and issuers will be in the future, or I would rather say at the moment it is already possible within the public beta test environment, obviously to onboard. There, the onboarding flow is still simplified. For example, the use of public beta, the test infrastructure is free, so there is no payment involved. In the productive system, there is a payment involved both for the onboarding on the base registry and also for the onboarding on the trust registry. So we have shown that a little bit. And also the verification from our side of your data, of your existence and so on, when you are registering on the trust registry, their additional complexity will be introduced with the productive environment, and this has been part of this last system demo chapter of today. That was mainly the content that we have shown today. Today there were no external contributions. I lament this a little bit, but that is how it was. And I would like to use that as an opportunity to invite all of you, if you believe that you have a topic that could be interesting to this audience, please get in touch with me so that we can organize a presentation by you within one of the next participation meetings. Or should you have simply an idea, a suggestion, a question for a presentation in the future, also please get in touch with me or make a note on GitHub. With this, I can announce the date for the next participation meeting. It will take place, as always, on the first Thursday of the month in June, that is June 4th. The normal session starts at 4 o'clock, and an executive summary will be provided again to you as now at 6 o'clock Swiss time. And here, once more, the different links where you find more information. Please use these resources, and otherwise thank you very much for your attention. I'm looking forward to presenting to you again next week, I would say next month on June 4th, and again thank you and goodbye.